I'm here with Cerise Santoro, who was an English language fellow in the Philippines, and she will be telling us about some of her experiences and what it was like to be a part of that program. So welcome. Thank you for being here.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
So for the first question, just can you describe your primary and or secondary project?
Yes. So my primary project was just implementing professional development workshops for the university I was hosted at. So it was from all faculty pretty much, and they recommend the different topics they want, and I would lead maybe 3-day professional development workshops at a time, for all the different departments. And at the school I was at, they also had an elementary school and a high school, so I was able to train teachers from all levels just at being at one school, and it was beautiful. So that was primarily what I did, but I also taught a few classes while I was there, and that was wonderful. Some classes included literary criticism and developmental reading. So generally they gave me the classes that Filipino teachers were struggling with. It was more difficult, so I was able to step in and put my take on a subject that might be hard to teach, and do some team training along with some other programs that I helped implement. We also made kind of like an after school program, and it was basically to help the students who weren't, I guess, perfect in English. They struggled a little bit, but they were still fluent. They were still fluent in it. So a program just to help them bring their test scores up, help them with the most common English problems. So that was another task I had there, and during that, I would teach it for the dates that it was, but I would also team teach it. So I would be able to implement my active learning strategies with the teachers that teach the students. So it was really great. And I also implemented a webinar series using the American English webinars, which come in a season, every season. And basically, if you watch these teacher training webinars, the U.S. Department of State gives you a certificate for professional development that you did this training, and you connect in this virtual world with people all over the world. So I was even able to see some colleagues and people I know that I've met at workshops and that I've trained, that I've brought into the program, and just introducing the teachers to more technology. They weren't used to having technology at their workplace, and implementing something to where they can use it, because it is available as long as they asked for it. If they ask the dean and the administration, they support them. So they're just afraid to voice it. So bringing that voice for them and giving them the latest technologies on how to develop as a teacher was very, very exciting for me. And those were the things that I did at my host institution while I was in the Philippines.
Just a few things on your plate there.
But it really wasn't that much. It sounded like a lot right then as I described it, but it really wasn't, because it was in a period of time. So it wasn't overwhelming. It was the perfect amount of work. And I was able to pretty much be with everyone in all levels of teaching. And it was a benefit for me as well. I grew so much professionally.
Great. Could you tell us a little bit about what ways you were able to share American culture, values, and customs with your students or community? And then in turn, what did you experience or learn about your host country?
Ooh, great question. So right after I got there, it maybe a month after, it was Thanksgiving. So that's a huge American holiday, and most people have never heard of it. So I actually celebrated with some teachers and students that were at the school that I bonded with. And I was able to make such a nice group of friends I considered family just in a month of being there. So my Thanksgiving with them, we went to a friend's house, and even though I couldn't find Thanksgiving food to make a turkey and everything, but I was able to do the same sitting around the table, making the food with each other with my friends and colleagues. So that was great. And we didn't have American food, but we had the American spirit. So, and we celebrated, and they were tagging me online in pictures at, saying American Thanksgiving. And, you know, you can make a Thanksgiving even if you don't have the same foods, because it's all about the idea of sharing and coming together. And I really think introducing my culture on Thanksgiving is the reason why I have so many friends there, and the colleagues that I worked with are still my friends that I talk to almost every day. So that was one time that I shared my American culture.
Very nice.
And yeah, and all the holidays, and there's so many of them, I was totally integrated with everyone I've met, and they were just wonderful. And I didn't feel like a tourist. I felt like the Philippines is my second home. I did live there. 10 months is practically living, and you get that sense of belonging already and within that time. And that was great to experience as a teacher, because it's usually the other way around where my students are from other places. And this time I was able to put myself in those shoes and see what it's like. And that is an experience that is the best thing that can happen as a teacher, I think.
Great. Um, could you tell us some other things about what you experienced about your host country in particular?
Yes, the Filipinos are amazing at conferences. They will always have the best conferences no matter what, because no matter what the topic is at a conference for professional development, they always begin with a song and a dance, and everyone is doing it. There's no one in the room that's afraid that someone's going to watch them do these silly dance motions, but everyone does it, and it's always really fast, really catchy. And then people are on the stage dancing in beautiful Filipino dresses, and they make it into a show. And I feel like that part of the education is why the Filipinos are so smart, because they put so much heart and soul into it with all the stuff that they do to make it engaging. And that was something that was shocking for me. I wasn't used to having conferences with singing and dancing and costumes. It was just wonderful. So I think that is something that I miss. Being at a conference in America, you know, I keep thinking, oh, where's the song? Where's the dance? I need a warm up. So it's great to see. Hopefully I'll be able to bring that spirit to a conference if I become a coordinator or a chair of one in the future.
I hope I attend that one then. What was something besides that experience that surprised you about living in the Philippines?
The level of hospitality that I received from the people. I knew Filipinos were hospitable people that were very good at and very friendly. I always got along with Filipinos, but to the level of what I received there and how kind everyone was to me and welcoming, and it was just beautiful. I didn't expect it to be like that. I didn't expect to make lifelong friends who I also consider family, that I really they call me a sister or an aunt. So being able to have that was great. I wasn't expecting, that's a hope when you go there. I hope I get along with people. I hope I make friends. I hope I create these relationships that maybe I can publish later with teachers and keep these professional bonds. And it went beyond my hopes, I guess. And I'm really happy about being in the Philippines specifically.
Great. And I feel like you've already said several things that kind of go into the same category, but what was the best thing or best part of being a fellow? Maybe not necessarily being maybe being in the country is part of it. You've already given some of those examples,
Yeah.
but what was the best part overall?
Ooh, well, something that highlights, of course, I love the Philippines, but since we have categories, so I was in the East Asia and the Pacific region of the English language program. So we have conferences that we go to in other countries as well. So I was sponsored to go to Korea to present at my research at a conference. So I had the U.S. Embassy helping me with that and supporting me. And my host institution supported me if I needed to go for work for different conferences. And I also went to China for the same thing. They brought all the English language fellows together in one country. We went to China this year, and we stayed for a week and do tons of professional development workshops. with other people and just develop together and talk about what we're going through. It's called a mid-year conference, so we're able to talk about problems, solutions, and just grow professionally, and being able to be back with colleagues that are all over East Asia and talk about the different things we're doing. It gave me so many ideas on what to implement at my host institution, and we were sharing information and PowerPoints. It was just such a great community to be around. So just being in that community was of English language fellows and U.S. Embassy support was the best part of it.
Wow, that sounds like such an amazing opportunity with just getting to travel and to meet people not only in the country we're in, but other people like you in the same position, getting to come together from all these different countries and situations and see what they're doing, hear what they're doing. So that's really an interesting way to grow and to meet others and just broaden your circle, right?
Definitely rewarding. It was actually one of my dreams that I had since I was a kid. I wanted to get a job, get the support overseas, and work in another country. And I finally was able to do it. And it wasn't just one, I was able to go to a few. So yeah, it was better than I thought it would be.
So moving on to away maybe from the best part and moving towards some of the maybe challenges that you faced while overseas and as a fellow. What challenges did you face and how did you overcome them?
Well, a challenge that I faced was my host institution coming to me with maybe 8 hours or 12 hours notice and asking me if I could give an 8-hour workshop the following day. So of course that might be stressful to some people. And of course to me, the first time it happened, I was kind of stressed. But if you take a growth mindset of it, it just shows that, they trust you. They think you can handle that. And they appreciate everything you do and they admire you because they couldn't put such a big task on someone who they don't think is a great professional. So I viewed it as having a lot of responsibility in that they were listening and wanted to hear what I had to say. So I took it as definitely positive, and it helped me so much grow professionally because now being back in the US, if anyone asks me to do anything or any workshop or just, at our teacher meetings, I can do it on the spot without even having materials ready. I have stuff prepared. I can even go in my email just in 30 seconds and pull something up. We're ready to teach teachers in any way, anytime. And I don't think I could have got so comfortable being flexible as a teacher if I didn't take that position. And I definitely don't see it as stress. I get super excited now if there's a problem, a teacher's gone, I could bring their class into mine and have 40 students instead of 20 because there's no substitute teacher and I can take it until the end. So most teachers wouldn't be able to do that. And I think that the fellowship helped me really, really become flexible and enjoy and thrive working in a fast-paced environment and just being ready to help in any way the education system needed help.
And a personal question I have is how many PowerPoints did you make? How many presentations did you make?
A lot. So I think I presented at 33 conferences, I think, in the whole 10 and a half months. So that's a lot of different PowerPoints because each conference could have been 3 days. So
wow. Okay.
So many topics. However, some of the PowerPoints I used, if it was a conference at a university in the Philippines, not a like a TESOL or a CATESOL. So if it was like a school training with 300 local teachers, it would be okay for me to use a PowerPoint that a colleague, another English language fellow, has made. So we have a system called the COP, and it's called a community of practice. And many teachers upload their different PowerPoints on whatever topics they may be to this community we have. So we can keyword search and see what other teachers have sent in. And they're so helpful that, someone will give a 3-hour long PowerPoint for professional development and then write on there, hey, use however you want. Feel free to edit and make it better. And just having so many amazing teachers that are willing to help you and help you make these workshops the best was wonderful. So I didn't create all 33 workshops. I had some help from some amazing teachers, and then I shared stuff with them as well. So it definitely was a great community.
Wow, just to have that extra support in community, even though they might not be local,
Yes.
based on online and
yeah, so it made you feel like it was still a community, even though we're oceans apart.
So my next question would be, and you've already touched on this a little bit as well, but how did this program contribute to your personal and professional growth and impact your post-fellowship career?
Ooh, well, it definitely gave me the experience of coordinating and putting workshops together. So now my current job, I've been coordinating the short-term programs at our English Language Institute. So one of the administrators went out for a few months, and they needed a replacement instantly. So I think having the English language fellow experience, they knew, okay, Cerise can definitely do it because of her experience overseas. So it immediately went to me. So it definitely gave me more coordinating positions, and I love doing it. So that was the step that I needed to get into coordinating the different programs here in the US as well.
Okay. And finally, what advice would you give to someone thinking about becoming a fellow?
I would tell them, don't think about it. You have to apply. You have to. It's the best experience you can imagine for teachers. I feel like if I didn't do this, one day I would look back and wish I did, and I would never change my mind. It was great. It was a wonderful experience. Do it. That's the advice that I would say. You gotta go. It's amazing.
Okay, well, you heard her. It's time to apply. And thank you so much for your time today and for answering these questions.
You're welcome.